If you put seawater into a big desert, can the Sahara be turned into an oasis? And the answer is no. Not only can't get an high salinity also destroys soil, forming vast expanses of white dead saline. Most things on land can't survive in this soil. So here's the problem. If not a local change, but to fundamentally reshape the world. For example, the Earth is half land and half ocean. Land and water each account for 50%. What would that look like? Welcome to the Old Horse Quest Club. We know water is essential for the development of life. 71% of the world's oceans. So as we search for alien life, always prioritize finding those that may be present. Water planet. But have you ever considered, what if we replace 21% of the Earth's oceans with land? What will happen? In order to achieve waterway balance, global sea levels would plummet. Not a few meters, but about 3 kilometers. This will completely change the face of the Earth. The areas around the North and South Poles will dry up. Every continent on Earth is expanding outward, and the scale is amazing. The total area of these emerging land masses, that's roughly what Asia is today. Europe, Africa, and North America combined. This means that there will be vast unused spaces created. Does that sound exciting? Everything that extends from the old coastline will be vast plains that are relatively flat, and some former deep-sea areas. It will reveal huge underwater canyons and steep cracks. As you explore this new continent, you will find an amazing fact. The once connected global ocean, it no longer exists. All oceans will be separated by land. On the contrary, all the land masses will be joined into one giant supercontinent. This is for the species. And evolutionarily speaking, that's early humans didn't have any ships or planes. We've traveled pretty much all over the world on just our feet. On an Earth divided by waterways. The scope of exploration on foot has never been wider. The trekking around the world you've always dreamed of. It's finally happening. But do you think that's a good thing? This change in the balance of waterways, but it's not romantic at all. Due to the significant decrease in the amount of water covering the ocean current system would be disrupted. The consequences are unimaginable. This would seriously destabilize the climate. The central role of ocean is to transport the ocean on a global scale. Absorbed. Once they are disrupted, temperatures at the North and South Poles will become even colder. And the already hot equatorial regions, it will get hotter. Climate change will also accelerate because as a result. Of the capacity of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. Excess carbon dioxide will act like a blanket. The Earth, cause global temperatures to rise. At the same time, global rainfall will plummet. This will happen in many inland areas, trigger a dangerous drought, and spawn new deserts. So, despite the availability of a large amount of large areas of the Earth, it may become uninhabitable. Whether it is animal or human, must adapt to a water resource. A scarcer environment. Water scarcity may lead to animals have evolved to be smaller, and there are more species forced to become purely carnivorous. Sadly, countless life flourishes in the oceans today will also face tremendous survival challenges. And this is just an appetizer. Since you played, let's play something bigger. What if you just flip the ocean and the land upside down? Imagine a world. Our familiar cities are submerged. Once upon a time, the ocean was a barren land. That's right, in an instant. All the cities are submerged by the sea. Huge tsunami rains into the city. Destroy everything. If you happen to be on a boat, then you will find yourself falling rapidly, falling into a dry and exposed seabed. The Amazon rainforest will be swallowed by floods. Ancient viruses may also see the light of day. It's safe to say, amphibious swamp will usher in a new mass extinction. Your city, townships, and every inch of dry land, it's all submerged now. Water covers 29% of the world's area. Land accounts for the remaining 71%. It means we have a new ocean, the North American Ocean, South American Ocean, Ophelia Ocean. They are connected by narrow rice, surrounding a brand new supercontinent. In the city, people may be fleeing the flood. Water rushes into skyscrapers. They look out the window, hoping for the flood to subside. And fortunately, they will never wait for that day. In this new world, there are two types of people. Type 1 are the most unfortunate. Incidents occur outdoors. People who can't swim. What about the second category? Those who live far inland from any body of residence, because now they find themselves surrounded by endless water. Unless you happen to have otherwise, a boat, it is impossible to reach new land at all. Of course, you might be one of the lucky ones if you live in a coastal city. So what was once a river has now dried up. You might be able to grab a tire inner tube, put on a swimsuit, put on a backpack, swim to the dry riverbed, set foot on a new continent. What about the animals? What will become of them? The fate of marine life will be devastating. When the water in rivers and oceans suddenly disappears, can suffocate from lack of oxygen. Almost instantaneous death on dry riverbeds and seabed will be filled with the carcasses of marine animals. But look at it from another angle. Explore this naked underwater world will be a great opportunity. After all, the precision with which we map the ocean floor of the Earth. Mars. If we were no longer hindered by the sea, perhaps thousands of new species will be discovered, although they are all dead. As for the underwater city in science fiction movies, alien spacecraft, who knows? But the land animals in the forest are out of luck. They don't drown immediately, but to go through a long torment. Top predators like tigers and lions will be forced to climb trees, sharing a tree with apes and zebras. Even if animals like giraffes can swim again, I can't swim the sea of Wang Yang Hai. In short, the ecosystem will be completely destroyed. Did he survive? What about a species that is still alive and well? These two species will survive better than before the disaster. The first is reptiles, like crocodile turtles. Alligators, they're natural amphibians, easily climb to the new home next door. The second one is insects. After the asteroid hit the Earth 66 million years ago, insects feed on rotting corpses. Had a feast. This will happen again. The bad news is, with the infestation of mosquitoes, diseases like misdeeds likely to erupt among the surviving humans. In addition to insect infestation, the New World still has a major problem: electricity. The electricity on which modern civilization depends, the power plant will is submerged underwater. The circuitry was damaged beyond repair. What does that mean? And you realize for the first time that you're so independent in energy. Even if you live in a building, the toilet on the 13th floor can't flush. Most of the world's population will disappear. But there are still some lucky ones who survive. How to rebuild? Everything had to start from scratch. Home agriculture, industry, traffic, no wood, no concrete. Building any new home is extremely difficult. But there is one thing we can use. Garbage is estimated in our oceans. Over 5 trillion pieces of plastic waste. When the sea recedes, humans can be creative. Use these to be washed. Clean trash to build dwellings. Most land plants die when submerged. This means no fresh fruits and vegetables. Scurvy, a disease that once plagued sailors, will make a comeback. Fortunately, there are a lot of people can dry dried fish, pickled as a reserve grain, but access to fresh water will also become extremely difficult. But the challenge goes beyond that. For the survivors, the bigger challenge will come from climate change. As the water area shrinks, it's getting hotter, getting drier. It's like a giant oven. Your best chance of survival living on the shores of the new world. So how will life evolve? Humans will become insects and reptile predators, and experts in pickled fish. Classification of slow could be hunted to extinction. Of any surviving species, smaller members have an advantage. With marine plankton and the destruction of land plants, the oxygen content in the atmosphere will stabilize at a new, lower level. This will prompt all species to evolve in new directions. Will humanity survive this disaster? It's hard to say, but look back in history. Humans have carried it from the trees to the land. Migration from Africa to the world. Humans are a tenacious and highly adaptable species, have recovered from the scale of thousands. So it's possible. If humanity had survived, that will become stronger than ever. Tougher, but that's not the limit. Since water is the foundation of life, then let's drink once. What if we turned the Earth into a water balloon? Imagine that. Sea levels are rising at an alarming rate. Floods flood the streets, rapidly engulfed the city. Earth is about to become a real-life water world. Our blue planet is already 70% ocean, but that 30% of land is the difference between life and death. If the Earth were suddenly completely submerged in water, chances of survival will become extremely slim. The first day, it all starts here. A journey to the end that cannot be turned back. A searing heat wave, raging wildfires, and raging storms will sweep the world at the same time, melting all the ice on Earth. Even if all this ice melts, the sea level will only rise by 70 meters. But do you think that's very little? That's enough to flood any coastal city. They will be wiped off the map one by one. Governments will try to evacuate people, but in the face of the astonishing speed with which the disaster unfolded, wait, 1/3 of the Earth's population will perish in the initial flood. The next day after the initial sea level rise, the world will be thrown into chaos. Order is lost. Survivors will ransack shops, fight for all survival supplies. The power system began to fail. You will endure the cold in the dark, hunger and fear, running for survival. On the 5th day, do you think the worst is over? The real nightmare begins now. The depths of our oceans. More than 1 million underwater volcanoes lurk. A heat wave on land could wake them up. They don't just spew lava. It will also release the trapped depths of the Earth, many times more than the surface of the ocean. If even part of it is spread, water is released. Land will be submerged faster. At the same time, the magnitude 8 will shake every continent. Skyscrapers are collapsing. The 6th day has not yet arrived. Calm down. A devastating tsunami sweeping through a continent that has been destroyed. The speed at which a tsunami moves up to over 50 kilometers per hour. No one can outrun it. Day 7. Once the sea level rises to 3.3 every continent on Earth will be completely submerged. Only the highest mountains can still stand on the water. So far, terrestrial civilization has come to an end. Day 30 at this time. Remaining governments may try to form a new government. Mountains will become safe zones, but chaos persists. At the same time, the New World government will begin formulating long-term plans. Build underwater living units. These habitats. The Earth will become humanity's last refuge. Day 60, the Earth will be changed forever. Forest, grassland. The desert will be gone. This is a mass extinction on an unprecedented scale. You might think that marine life is safe, but you're wrong. Ocean acidification will destroy the entire marine ecosystem. Even giant whales are not immune. In 2 years, the Earth will be unrecognizable. By this time, 70 to 90% of all species had become extinct. Most of the surviving humans lived by robbery and plunder. Richest, the most organized groups will move to subsea units. On the water, survivors take over abandoned cruise ships, form a floating community. But dehydration, diseases, and never-ending storms will be their eternal enemy. What about 200 years from now? Do humans still exist? Tell the truth. It's a play that's pretty much gone extinct. Probably within a generation, the species was radically wiped out. In the most optimistic scenario, there's probably about 10 million people left on the planet. As they continue to live on the ocean, some evolutionary mutations may occur. Just like the Bajau people in Indonesia in reality, they have bigger spleens, can dive deeper and longer. But even so, humans can't do it for long enough. Fully adapted to the ocean, the number of survivors is not enough to reproduce. Malnutrition, infant mortality rate, and humans, damn it, a predisposition to violence could wipe out the rest. Although we come from the ocean, but we evolved for land after all. So there were 3 planetary disaster scenes. That's it for this issue's thought experiment. What do you think? In any scenario imaginable today, how sure are you of surviving?